Hello everyone, welcome to securitycompliance.io, your CMMC compliance platform by InterSec Inc. We are a CMMC AB registered provider organization. This is the first of our video series that provides guidance on CMMC assessment as proposed by the Department of Defense and CMMC accreditation body. Before we begin, a little bit about InterSec is we were incorporated in 2013 in Ashburn, Virginia. InterSec is a boutique cybersecurity service provider for commercial, state, and federal clients. Our CMMC services include assessment, advisory, consulting, and managed security services for full coverage of administrative and technical CMMC requirements. If you are a company getting ready for CMMC assessment by a CMMC third-party assessment organization, otherwise known as a C3PAO, this video will provide an overview of the CMMC assessment and how to best prepare for it, one CMMC Level 1 practice at a time. Starting with a little intro to the CMMC assessment, the DoD published the CMMC Level 1 and 3 Assessment Guide on November 30th, 2020. The CMMC evaluation process gives contractors consistent guidance for a specific CMMC level. A Level 1 assessment confirms that the contractor is meeting the basic safeguarding requirements for FCI, otherwise known as Federally Classified Information, as specified in FAR Clause 52.204-21. So to understand FCI, a little definition of it is information not intended for public release that is provided by or generated for the government under a contract to develop or deliver a product or service to the government. A contractor can achieve a CMMC Level 1 certification for an entire enterprise network or for particular segments, depending upon where the FCI is or will be handled and stored. Before we discuss how AC.1.001 practice will be assessed by C3PAOs, let's quickly go over a brief background about the CMMC AC.1.001 practice. As you may already be aware, the CMMC Level 1 has 6 domains and 17 associated practices. These 6 domains are access control, identification and authentication, media protection, physical protection, system and communications protection, and system and information integrity. Starting with access control, the CMMC standard defines 4 capabilities. These 4 capabilities are establish system access requirements, control internal system access, control remote system access, and limit data access to authorized users and processes. The access control domain for Level 1 has 4 total practices. The first practice, AC.1.001, is about limiting information system access to authorized users or devices. Using NIST 800-171 as a source, let us discuss the meaning behind access control. Access control policies are regulating the access between active entities, for example users or users of processes, and passive entities, for example devices and records. This enforcement mechanism is going to be at the application and service levels to increase information security. This is going to be focusing primarily on account management. For the CMMC clarification, access control is about controlling who can use company computers and access the company network. This is further coupled by the restriction to access of services and devices, especially for the ones on the company network. It's important to set up your system so that unauthorized users and devices cannot get on without proper approval. Let us see some examples of how access control can be used properly at a company. Looking at this first scenario, you are in charge of IT for your company. You give a username and password to every employee who uses a company computer for their job. No one can use a company computer without a username and a password. You're giving a username and password only to those employees that have permission to be on the system. And when an employee leaves the company, you disable their username and password immediately. Moving on to assessment procedure. An assessment procedure consists of an assessment objective and a set of potential assessment methods and assessment objects that could be used to conduct the assessment. Each assessment object includes a determination statement related to the CMMC practice that is the subject of the assessment. The determination statements are linked to the content of the CMMC practice to ensure traceability of the assessment results to the requirements. The application of an assessment procedure to a practice produces assessment findings. These findings then reflect or are subsequently used to help determine if the practice has been satisfied. For AC.1.001, there are 6 assessment objectives. The first, authorized users are identified. The second, processes acting on behalf of authorized users are identified. The third, devices authorized to connect to the system are identified. The fourth, system access is limited to authorized users. The fifth, system access is limited to processes acting on behalf of authorized users. And finally, system access is limited to authorized devices. For the assessment objects for AC.1.001, the first one is going to involve specifications or document-based artifacts associated with the system. The next one is mechanisms are the specific hardware, software, or firmware safeguards employed within a system. Third is activities are protection-related actions supporting a system that involves people. And finally, individuals or groups of individuals are people applying specifications, mechanisms, or activities. Going over the assessment methods, the examine method is the process of reviewing, inspecting, observing, studying, or analyzing assessment objects. The purpose of the examine method is to facilitate understanding, achieve clarification, or obtain evidence. The interview method is the process of holding discussions with individuals or groups to facilitate understanding, achieve clarification, or obtain evidence. This works hand in hand with the examine method to further clarify any pressing questions. The test method is the process of exercising assessment objects under specified conditions to compare actual with expected behavior. When examining AC.1.001 practice implementation, a C3PAO may examine one or more of the following artifacts. This is by no means a comprehensive list, but should provide a general idea of the depth and scope of artifacts that could be examined. For the examine method, for example, there could be a system security plan. For the interview method, there could be personnel with information security responsibilities. And for the inspect method, there could be organizational processes for managing system accounts. These are the references to other security standards related to AC.1.001. For example, you can see that AC.1.001 maps to Control 3.11 in the NIST 800-171. Another example is it also maps to the AU ACSC Essential 8. The rest on this list are also going to be mappable to AC.1.001 and any other further practices. And there you have it. That was the first video covering AC.1.001. If you would like to learn more about CMMC, please check some of the on-screen useful resources. One quick way to keep up to date on CMMC and any of its changes is to subscribe to our mailing list, which is at intersecinc.com/contact us. We also invite you to get a free CMMC level self-assessment and generate a gap report at our CMMC platform, www.securitycompliance.io. We have a series of educational video content on CMMC coming up, so if you enjoyed this video and would like to see further videos, I highly encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe for more content, as well as turn on post notifications to be alerted when we post new videos on CMMC. Thank you for watching, and until next time.